here on Kiwi. Time now is 10 minutes away from 9.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
And joining me now to start a brand new feature on the show, really excited about this one, is Simon Pound from simonpound.com. Hello to you, Simon.
G'day, Glenn. How are you, sir? Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Tell us about yourself, because you're a man about town at the moment. You've got a few fingers in a few pies.
Yeah, I think the life of a freelancer means that you do have to work in lots of places at once and kind of keep lots of avenues open in case at any one point your primary employment falls over and you're in the poorhouse.
Yeah.
But also I have a lot of interests in a lot of different things, and so it's really fun to kind of work over a couple of different media and things. But primarily, I work for Media 7 is the main gig.
That's the current main gig. And I remember also you used to be on the Sunday morning politics show.
Yeah, it's the Sunday breakfast on B. I helped set that one up, and that was BFM was great fun for many years.
But TV stuff as well. And
on TV on Agenda, which was
that's right.
It was on Sundays when I was on it, and then it moved to Saturdays, and that was a really fascinating job, getting to kind of meet and see a lot of the political movers and shakers and do a bit of media work for them. I've been media reporting has been the main kind of gig for about 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah, but you've also gone off and you're now doing freelance kind of is it consulting and advertising?
Yeah, advertising is a really fascinating kind of place. If you want to make things, like actually physically have things made from your ideas, and you work in television, there's only kind of 2 places you can go to get those things made. You can go to 1 or 3, TVNZ or TV3, and you can try to get it past a very small number of commissioners and programmers and editors, and there's very few people who can say yes. So if both of those places have said no to the idea, it's very unlikely to get made. And so out of a frustration that it was so difficult to get content that wasn't broadly accessible, because the only way you do get shows made generally, unless there's something like 6 and 7, which is made for minority interests, is you have to prove that it's going to appeal to more people than not. So to appeal to 60% of the population, you've got to be appealing to the cool to the uncool, the old to the young, a farmer in Masterton and a Ponsonby hippie, and it's very difficult. So that's why
that's been the conundrum for the madmen for decades now, isn't it?
Well, but that was the problem in television production, because there's so few things being made, and so that's why you always ended up with things like Mark Ellis on the front of it, because it was proven that a large section of the population liked him more than not. So he was the guy you chucked in, even if it wasn't perhaps perfect for the show. So out of a frustration of that, I kind of turned to advertising, where there's this really exciting kind of movement to making content and posting it in non-TV places like online or, so generally online to be watched through the internet. And so if you can just convince our brand or our company to support the show you want to make, then you can make it, and you make it for lower cost than you would for TV, but then you actually get to make stuff. And that kind of led me into advertising to see if there was a way to make some of these kind of more esoteric or special interest shows I wanted to make that were that are really kind of influenced by people like Louis Theroux and stuff that weren't getting a lot of play here. And as a result, I ended up falling into doing a wee bit of kind of advertising work.
But not making the shows that you wanted to make.
No, because it's still tricky. We're very close to seeing a bit of a tipping point where there is going to be that investment, like big investment in stuff that's made only for the web. But at the moment, it's a bit of an impediment. People really want to see stuff on, like big brands in the main, really still want to see stuff on TV. But it is happening, and as a result, the kind of the skills that you get in television production, which are making content that, I mean, if you think about ads on a network, right? The ad breaks that break up a show. The show itself, like half an hour of television, might cost $50,000, let's say, to make. And that's a very good budget for a 6 or 7 show, and it's about half a budget for like a TV2 show, for example. Half an hour might cost you $50,000, but each ad break probably costs $150,000 to $300,000 to make, unless it's a very simple kind of retco ad. But any ad with filmed moving parts, it costs you upwards of $150,000 to make. So you're kind of looking at, in television production, you have to find a way to make compelling, engaging content that lasts for half an hour, that's cheap, while in advertising they spend an enormous amount on 30 seconds. So if worked in TV production, your skills in making engaging content for cheap are very valuable in this new online realm of advertising where they want to engage people and they don't have a lot of money.
Okay, but there are these big companies that still have a lot of money, but they want their ads to be cheaper. But where's that money going if it's not being spent on the ads?
Well, a bit of it's being spread around. So now instead of, it was a beautiful time in advertising, 10, 15 years ago when there were one or two big channels, there were one or two big magazines, it was very easy. There were one or two big newspapers, and you could go and get your markets very cleanly and clearly in these places. And what you could do is, say you had a really nice idea, you'd come up with a really nice advertisement, and then you'd play that advertisement for 6 months. You wouldn't have to change it. And off the back of that advertisement, you'd have ads and papers that referenced it, radio ads that referenced it, billboards that referenced it. Very easy. One idea, come up with it, and then spend 6 months counting the money. These days, there's so many different channels and platforms and executions you have to do, and also the content has to evolve. Yeah. So now these big brands will spend, $200,000 making an advertisement, and then they'll also have to spend $200,000 maintaining a social media presence,
right,
constantly updating banners, running interactive competitions, doing PR stunts.
And all the stuff is very new. It's very, very fresh. This is just the early days of this kind of stuff, especially the social media aspect. So it's going to be interesting over the next few years to see how this evolves and whether or not it's as effective as the traditional advertising in the past.
Well, the social media stuff, it's a field that I've worked a little bit in because I've worked on a campaign for a couple of years now that has existed in these social media spaces. And I think some people mistake it for a religion, eh? They think that social media is some kind of mass movement that's going to change the world and this, that and the other. But in reality, it's just a new channel. Just like when television came along, all the first advertisements on that were radio ads, effectively, people just telling the story with pictures to support it. And then after a while it changes, so they were actually making television ads. So it was like the pictures came first. And then the first days of the internet, the banner ads were just newspaper ads, like nothing, they weren't interactive at all. You just put like a graphic on a page and that was their ad. And that's not really using the internet properly. And social media is a space too where what they're working out are ways to actually engage people to best suit the medium. So it's just another channel that people are kind of feeling their way through.
So this new feature that we're starting on the show, we haven't given it a name yet.
No.
Simon Powell, Madman? No?
I don't know. Could be a Madman. We'll have to think on a feature name, won't we? That's not bad.
But I guess we'll be looking at these issues, what you've just been talking about, and also actually specifically looking at actual campaigns as well.
Yeah, well, my interest isn't as like Madman makes it sound like I'm a super expert or something, which I'm not, but I'm taking a reporter's approach. I've been reporting on media for a number of years, so I've watched a lot of these developments and reported on them and talked to a lot of the people. One of the coolest things about working in media as a reporter or a broadcaster is the chance to talk to all these people who are actually doing these things. So, you get to talk to people that set up WordPress, or you get to talk to people that, have built businesses on Twitter and all of these things. And so by taking a reporter's eye to a lot of the things happening in advertising and not being someone working in it, you can get kind of a broader picture. You're not tribal, you're not, influenced, you haven't started in just one medium, so you're used to that medium, or it's quite useful. And having actually done a wee bit of freelancing and doing a bit of freelancing through advertising, it's also interesting to get inside the companies and see how they work.
And this is also spinning off to a new TV show that's going to be starting up on TVNZ7.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Media 7, which is the thing I've been working on for the last 2 years, which is Russell Brown, your regular contributor, is the host of that show, and I've been working as a reporter and dog's body for the show. And we are going to, the same people that make Media 7 are going to be making a new show called The Ad Show, which is going to be filmed at TVNZ as well, and it's going to be broadcast. We both share an hour, so we're going to be half an hour, and Media 7's half an hour. And this new show is pretty much like Media 7 is about media, this is about advertising. It'll look at themes, issues, actually explain how ads work, why they work, go in and, try and answer questions people have all the time, like why are the ads louder than the TV programs? Which is sound compression, but we'll show you that. And also questions like, why does the fast food looks so good and the pictures are never that good when you open your burger.
Yeah.
And right from that to why people buy things, and then through to kind of some fun stuff too. And it'll be a lot of kind of panel stuff with industry leaders and people who can tell us things. And we've got Hazel Phillips, who is the NBR advertising writer, is going to be the host, and she's amazing. Her ad hoc column in the NBR is must read for everyone in advertising, and she's going to be a really awesome host.
Well, fantastic. Look forward to that starting, and also you regularly being on the show every Thursday at around about 8:40 in the morning. Thanks very much, Simon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Check out his blog as well, simonpounds.com.